Welcome to Flesh and Pod, a flesh and blood podcast, breaking down weekly news and notes from the tournament scene, community drama, game strategy, and more. And now, here are your hosts, Derek and Logan.
Hello, and welcome to episode, 96. We've been doing this, 96 of Flesh and Pod. I'm Logan. I am your host. With me, as always, is the showstopper, Derek Oswald, as well as a special guest tonight. I guess morning for him, Isuardi.
Hello.
How you doing? Good to have you on. Israel, did you get up to anything in Flesh and Blood this week? I know that your pre-release kind of got canceled due to some supply issues. Is that right?
Yeah, it's really bummed me out because my nearest LGS is 2 hours drive away from my house. So I rarely play it, and I'm only playing limited. So I'm really looking forward for this release, but the shipping problem, and they got canceled. So yeah, I didn't I didn't attend any pre-release event.
Oh, well, you saved 4 hours in travel, I guess. I mean, that's something.
Yeah, back and
But
forth.
yeah, right. Yeah. So that I read about those issues and I was just like, oh, because it's like most of Europe and most of Asia, right? That have the issue. Anybody that's Asmodee, right?
I don't know because the other game shop I know is the pre-release is apa they have the products.
Oh,
Just
okay.
just one that I attend is doesn't have it.
Just
Uh,
that's the one that didn't get it. Great.
yeah.
I am sorry to hear that. Derek, did you actually make it out to one?
All right, so
Oh my God, not again.
here's the thing. I may have let some folks down. All right. Listen, there are several places that run pre-releases in the area, okay? And I think every other pre-release in the past, the way that it worked is there's a place in Howell, it's about 40 minutes away from me, and a place in Grand Ledge, it's about like 25 minutes away from me. And Howell is always Saturdays, Grand Ledge is always Sundays. And I always say I like to go to the Grand Ledge one because those people are amazing. They're always really good to me. And so when I saw they were both running pre-releases, I said to my wife, all right, I'm going to go play on Sunday. She said, great. So Saturday, did family stuff. And then I look at my phone. I don't know, it was like around 1 o'clock or something. And I see a message from Ken at the Grand Ledge store. Hey, you coming to the pre-release? And he sent this, of course, like way early in the morning because that pre-release started at like 10 a.m. So I could not go to the Grand Ledge pre-release at that point. But I did reserve my time on Sunday. So I did just go to the Howell one today, and then I decided to win it because that's what I do when I do show up, right? Like I do all right. So
All right.
I did actually, this is the long con setup to say I did actually play some Flesh and Blood.
Oh my God.
And I'm still riding high from it. It was a lot of fun. And
Good.
I, of course, played Teklevasen because I wanted to be Iron Man. So I wanted to play some Evos. I opened a med kit, so I kind of knew going into it. I opened a med kit and I opened one of the Evo Souls, which is essentially like +6 life on top of being able to block for 3 once from hand with it as well. So like I knew going in, my game plan was going to be fatigue every game anyway, because between the med kit and then the fun scrap shenanigans. So it's like you block with the soul for 3, then you play something with scrap to banish it, and then I can play it from my banish zone, block with it for 3, block with it for 2, block with it for 1, and then when it's blocking for 1 before the temper kicks in, do the instant overwrite, rinse, repeat, that sort of thing. So felt very strong. I had a lot of fun. I think that just based on my limited amount of time with it, the format's going to be a lot of fun in draft, and I'm kind of jacked for ProQuest season.
So I played in 3 pre-releases. Sorry, Isra, I'm not trying to rub it in. But got 3 of them. And so the first one I tried to like start off with Max Nitro, and I'm like, well, this isn't going to work. So then I switched over to Teclo Daddy, and I'm like, okay, this is better, but I hate all of these no block cards. So I just cut every card out of the deck that didn't block and then proceeded to win the next round. I'm like, okay, cool. Go into the second pre-release just with it in mind that I'm going to play 0 cards that don't block and just play Teklevasen. So turns out that I also won that pre-release, same kind of like you did there, because the card Terminator Tank is a fucked up Flesh and Blood card.
It's pretty good.
What the hell were they thinking? That is dumb. So at any rate, I had one of those, and my plan always was just like, okay, well, if I get it early, arsenal it. Otherwise, I'm just going to pitch stack until all of my evos until I can suit all the way up, and then 9 overpower on hit discard a card for 3. That's fair and balanced, right? There's nothing wrong with this card. It's totally reasonable. So that was a clean 5-0. 7-0 if you count the practice games that people wanted to play. Today, played Teklevasen again, but didn't have the full Iron Man suit. Went 3-1. Totally fine. But then we did draft Bright Lights. Oh, right. And I can confirm it is really fun in draft. There was some shenanigans happening in draft. You could set up so many cool things. Now, the bad part of draft is that one of the people at the table was Dagon White. And so he was just literally playing Guardian. He took everything that was a 3 for 7 and paid 0 attention to any of the actual like mechanics of the set. And instead it was block 6, present 7. Block 3, present 7. It was just like, this is just Bravo and WTR. That's all you're doing. He's like, yep, sure is. Great. But there is some severe in this draft. There's a lot of tension when you're picking cards, because I don't know about you, but it felt like absolutely insane not to play 40 cards.
No, I think you are just playing 40 no matter what with this.
So in draft, you only draft 42 cards. So the tension starts again because it's 14 times 3. You have there's 16 cards, 2 token slots, so expansion slot, token slot. So it's 14 draftable cards in each pack. You only have 42. So it's really difficult to kind of narrow down what those picks need to be.
You know, to make things worse, I don't know about you, but it feels like everybody at the table's playing Mechanologist.
I mean, everybody's forcing mech. It sucks.
Yeah,
it's really hard to get anything when people are. You're such a dipshit. Like, why do I put up with you? I don't get it. Idri, you're the new host of the show. Derek's fired. Fuck this guy. But yeah, so let's talk about our initial thoughts. Now, I know you didn't get to play a little at all this weekend, but was there anything you were excited about trying out in this, Idri?
Oh yeah, I think I haven't told you guys that I really suck at playing Flesh and Blood. I'm just coming in when Outsiders is released, and when you talk about mechanics like block 3, attack 6, I don't really know about that. I'm not really familiar with all that cards. I'm just playing in limited because since I live in God's nowhere city, and my nearest LGS is 2 hours drive away. So I only played in limited because I haven't invest in CC decks. So yeah, maybe you guys should know that.
But still, I mean, you can look at the cards, you can look at the heroes, maybe something you just go, okay, well, that looks like fun.
Oh
Were there any
yeah,
of them
when
that like
I
kind of
look,
stood out?
I was going to suggest that he just drafts based solely on art.
Right, you just draft your own cards.
Yeah, when I look at what the Iron Man do, Macropotent, that's really cool. I want to play that, but when I read the description, it's like I think I cannot I cannot play this card. The requirement's really hard to play.
Yeah,
like 4 evos and I don't know.
No, it's actually, so what I found out. So two things. Luckily, you can't play Singularity in limited because the cards that are in the expansion slot you're not able to play them. And that card's a legendary and it appears in the expansion slot. So in limited, you can't do it. Thank God, because it was actually really easy if you had all 4 Evo pieces in your deck to get to them. It was not difficult.
Is it really easy to get 4
It's
evos?
really, if you have them in your deck, it's really easy to get to it.
Hmm.
It does not take much effort. So I was like, that surprised me a ton, because I was thinking you have to jump through some hoops, and turns out, nope, sure don't.
Yeah.
Nope, you just, because when you play Teklevasan's ability, you draw a card,
Hmm.
so you're already digging a bit, and you can play them from Bannerstone. So when you boost with your Mechanologist attacks, you can play them if you boost them. It's
Or scrap.
or scrap them.
Turns
Yep.
out scrap was my go-to. I I actually need to rethink some of the theory crafting I was already doing with Teklevasan, like before this, because now that I've got my hands on the cards, I actually think that scrap is going to be the key way that you build around him, because being able to block with your evos and then just scrapping them after the fact anyway felt so much better than blind boosting.
Yep.
I really dig it.
So yeah, it's hard for Ejor to play with all of his cards though, because they're all Majestics in this set.
Yeah.
So that's difficult.
My initial plan for pre-release is when I'm confused, maybe I try Nitro and aggro as like a dumb. Just boosting like stupid.
Yeah, boost,
Boost,
whatever.
and my deck is gone.
Yeah, your deck's gone in a heartbeat. That was, but like honestly though, because you're playing all 4, you're basically always going to play 40 cards. You can only play up to 40 cards, but a lot of the times they are coming down to like those short fatigue matchups. But if you have some of the bigger cards, they will also just take your opponent's deck with them.
Yep.
So it's a great strategy. So you're thinking that like, oh, it's just idiot boost. Nope, that's actually really good. You can just do that, and it works too. So that was one of the things that that I noticed playing it. Was I expected that to kind of be the brainless strategy, was max, and it wasn't. That was the hardest one to pilot.
Oh,
by quite a bit, because there's so much interplay with making hyperdrivers. So you get a boost, so you can make a hyperdriver, and then you have to crank the hyperdriver so you can swing with the wrench. I mean, there was a whole lot of just like chains, whereas Teklevasan was usually block, boost a thing, block, boost a thing. Hey, here are my Evo pieces. Play my Evo pieces. Block, boost a thing, swing for 2, then keep building until it's swing for 3, go again, do a thing, and then eventually it just snowballs.
Yeah, my entire game plan was literally block and play Evos until I got my weapon online. And then I did in my pool, I opened a red gigawatt followed by a foil red gigawatt. So my like go for the throat, because that also is just any mechanologist attack.
Any attack.
Weapons as well. And so then eventually it became the like, all right, well, I'll take a blue pitch and swing my weapon for 11 with go again, and then play the rest of my turn. And a lot of times that was enough to get the damage through. But
I was actually having a lot of fun, because I did have a couple of those pools where I had the 1 or 2 pieces of the breaker Evos. And that those got people real good a couple of times. So that was also fun, because I was like playing, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna talk to Isher on Sunday. This is gonna be fun as hell. And then somebody opened up one of the Marvel of those pieces, the face breaker, so the one with kind of like the skull and the visor. And I was like, okay, this is gorgeous. So this looks amazing. Can I have it? And they're like, well, no. I'm like, well, I tried. Like I did my best. We both teams played hard, whatever. But I do have I got the Fabled already though, so we did that. So that's great.
The guy to the left of me opened a cold foil Fable, and the guy across from me, Brad, who I say he is he's got to be the apprentice of Andy. So we have a friend named Andy who's just super lucky. Brad is like Andy, but almost fair. He's also very lucky. Normally, like every time we go to a pre-release, he opens a Marvel or whatever. This time, he just won the raffle. So like he got the really cool mat, which is gorgeous. Whoever did the art,
whoever did the art for that playmat is insane. Like they're incredible.
Great, but yeah. So Brad got the playmat across from me. The person on the left of me got the cold foil. I won
So
though.
so we do this thing with large events at our LGS one, because we always have them on Sundays at that LGS. It's the one that's literally walking distance from my house. It's less than a mile away. And so then across the street from there is this really good Indian restaurant. So Nepalese, Indian, and it's like the only one that I found in Iowa that I like. So it's hard, so that's about it. It's the ones that taste closest to when I've been in India eating Indian food. It's the one that tastes closest to that. So my friend who's just lost his job and has like kind of been living off peanut butter and jelly or whatever. I'm like, okay, come on. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna hang out and watch you guys eat. And I'm like, no, I'll buy you dinner. Just get me back whenever. He's like, no, I'm not doing that. I don't want your charity. And I'm like, it's not charity. I mean, I just want you to hang out and have a good time. He's like, no, I'm not doing that. And has all these prize packs. And I'm like, look, you're going to open something I need, and I'm going to need, and then you're just going to give it to me, and then you'll be covered. And he's like, no, that's not going to happen. I'm just going to watch you eat. And I'm like, no. And so the guy comes over to take orders. I'm like, we're not ready yet. And I'm like, here, just open a pack. And I'm like, and he's like, okay, what do you need? I'm like, well, I need, this card. And he's just like, okay. So he opens a pack. And he's like, he's like, oh, is it this one? And it's the tome of the Imperial, whatever. Tome of the Imperial Flame. And I'm like, yep, that's the one. Go ahead and order. Just rips open one pack.
Yep.
There it is. So better lucky than good, right? It's whatever. So then, bought him dinner. I'm up to 2 tomes. I need one more for next weekend, but because I'm gonna play Dromai like a god, like a what's the best way? Like a hypocrite is the wrong term. Traitor? Am I a traitor? Maybe. Because they all right. Well, yeah. So I really the sealed. I did feel a little like Teklevasen or Bust. When we were playing, there was a couple of good maxes and like one maybe good dash, but everything, I think all 3 were won by Teklevasen.
Yeah, I saw one player that was on dash, and I really liked what they were doing. Turns out playing, red bombs as instance off the top of your deck can really surprise people for bonus damage. And so when you're trying to kind of maybe play that fatigue game, but then you're not calculating for that, it really forces them to kind of overblock later. So I liked that game plan, but I think it's going to be pool dependent. But I did like what I was seeing out of Dash a bit.
Yeah, I thought that. So Dash and Draft was far more interesting. And it was weird because the table was 5 Teklevasens. And then a max and a dash was only 7 players. So I think then a max and a dash, and that was it. So the max and the dash were just feasting. And the Teklevasens didn't feel like we were fighting over cards, though, because, again, it's all mechanologist, whatever. And so that was what was interesting to me, was I'm like, oh, this draft is set up so that there's no such thing as getting hated out of what you're doing. Like, you'll still find cards that are useful no matter what. And that feels way better than other things previous. So I really enjoyed that. So that's what stood out to me. Derek, what stood out to you throughout all this?
How beautiful the art was.
Yeah. That's been getting me for a while now.
No, I say that in part because of our amazing guest, but also in truth, somebody like myself who has like a big love for kind of the cyberpunk aesthetic anyway. Like, I've got art on my wall, and I don't know. I wasn't expecting that from this set, because prior to this set, when we had Dash just has more, like traditional Dash anyway, has more of the steampunk aesthetic. And I don't mind that, but it's not the same as like the true kind of like neon bright lights, robotic cyborg feel. And then when I started seeing some of that art pop up for this set, I was like,
right.
Oh, this has awakened something in me.
That was the thing, is that actually happened live on air, because we saw the Breaker Key art mat, and both of us just stopped and went, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
And because it just like hit exactly where we wanted to be. Like it was exactly what we wanted. And we're like, holy shit. And then I look and see that it's that Ishar's the artist. I'm like, oh, well, that's perfect because we were already talking about you coming on the show. So I was just like, oh, well, I guess this makes it really easy now. So welcome. But that was as hard of that's as hard as I fanboyed over art in a while. As an instant reaction. So uh, let's talk about art. I mean, we have you on here, so we might as well, right? I know it's your job, and I don't really want you to just spend time talking shop, but I do just want to just like hear from you about what like what this means to you. But first, I think we just need to talk about the process a little bit. So, like when you're starting, like, do they? So you have an art director, I'm assuming, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then they just
Uh,
how does that work? Do they just send you what you're supposed to be doing, kind of like as a brief description? Like, how does that all work?
yeah, it's work like uh, any other job, not just exclusively to TCG. So they just send you the brief and I work on it. Uh,
So where do you pull like your ideas from then? Is it like you get something and you're like, okay, then you kind of search around
uh,
for like some imagery ideas, or is it more of a you're just pulling stuff out of thin air?
yeah, they give you like a reference board, so the images that like uh, it's on theme with the cards. So if they want me to draw brutes, then they will give me orcs like other brutes card, not exclusively from Flesh and Blood, but from other IPs as well that visually match with the theme. So I can, but I have to do my own research too as well. So sometimes they give me this a strict description about what they want, but sometimes they give me a loose description so I can like give my own thoughts about the cards, the visual. Yeah,
Okay,
like
so
that.
so basically they're just giving you kind of the rough idea, and you're just bringing it to life more or less.
Yeah, except the if except for heroes, because their team already come with the concept art, so I
Okay,
cannot deviate like more on heroes design.
so like Brevent, I know was in you did
Yeah,
Brevent, and he that's in the around the table set. And you also did Arachne, right? Both the young
yeah.
and the adult. So, but like I noticed, so that's one of the things I kind of nerded out on a little bit was with young Arachne and adult Arachne. Did you use like the young Arachne that you did as like the template to grow to old Arachne? Because they're so you can it's so subtle the way that the posing and everything else works. I was just like, this is perfect. I don't get it. Like,
Uh, no, because they give me 5 box first.
okay,
So when they give me 5 box, they want to use the Arachne character,
yep,
uh, and the next set young Arachne just the next set young Arachne. Yeah, I think
yep.
it's the next set.
I believe it's the next set because I think it's. I mean, I can just do this and not look like an idiot, but
Yeah,
you know,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
iPod
yeah,
should be Uprising and then
uprising
Arachne
into
yeah.
dynasty.
Dynasty.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
I
Yep.
don't know. I don't know. They developed the young Arachne first, but they give me the adult Arachne first. So I don't know if I don't even know if that Arachne is gonna be a hero.
Oh wow. So you designed that not knowing that Arachne is going to be a hero.
They just give me a concept art of the character. They want me to use that in the 5 box illustration, but I don't know it's gonna be a hero.
Okay, I need to give LSS a little more credit then because I didn't think that they thought that deeply on on
Oh,
some of
they
these things. Like, okay.
my
Uh,
my understanding from talking to Alex is that they do a lot of like in-depth stuff before for heroes anyway. Like when I was talking to Alex at LSS, he was basically saying that they when it comes to heroes, they are significantly more particular because like once the heroes are brought to life, they're that way forever and they're like the face of the game. So he was saying that they put a lot more into them as opposed to some of the other stuff, like the barraging Brawnhide, where it's like a random beast or whatever. You probably have a lot more leeway, but if it's something that they kind of have earmarked as like, hey, this could be a hero, they're a lot more particular, is my understanding.
So like a card like BIOS Update is obviously, supposed to be Data Doll.
Yeah.
And so they just told you, okay, it's Data Doll, it's this character, and here's what's going on. I'm assuming that's how that works. Is that close?
Yep.
Okay. So,
Except Genius.
No, Jen.
I think I don't get any pre-concept art about Genius, so it's I think it's largely my idea. It's visually look like that.
So this is basically all you.
No,
Uh,
not all me. They give me preference, like a merchant,
Sure.
but
But they
not
let
like
you kind
other
of do your thing.
Uh, when
Right.
when I do Breven or Arachne, they give me a sheet, character sheet, like the visual and all that.
Yeah. But
They said he's got what we need, so we can let him do Genus what you need.
I think that's great because if you think about it, Genus is actually one of the most frequently cosplayed characters. So that's pretty flattering, right?
He win at Singapore, I think.
Yeah, it won at Singapore. I mean, you've got a lot of cosplayers going because you also you did Infiltrate, right? And that's Carolina, so our very unhinged friend. But that was like because I remember being at your booth at Baltimore with her, and she was dressed. I believe she was dressed as Leave No Witnesses, but she's like, "I need this, I need this," because it was like the print of Infiltrate, and then we had to come back and get it signed. So Charmer's just waiting in line at your booth on Sunday. That was like 70 people deep. And
I remember that. Yeah, I waited so long, and he was so patient with everybody too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I was grinding people to dust with Levia. And you just keep turning your eyes like, is he dead yet? And I'm like, yeah. Next person in the seat. Let's go. And they sat down, just crushed the next person. And eventually, after like 5 people died to Levia, Charmer's like, okay, I got it signed. Where's Carolina? Like, oh, I don't know where she disappeared to. So I had to go hunt her down. But yeah, you had that booth was never empty at Baltimore.
Yeah.
Like there was no breaks.
It really surprised me.
Really?
Yeah,
Was that?
That's my first event.
Oh wow! I mean,
I'm
okay.
happy to have been a part of your first event then.
Yeah. In case you didn't know, people love your work. If you hadn't caught on yet, you're pretty popular.
I mean, I'm a big Assassin fan, so I just love Arachne.
One might call him a simp.
Yeah, I am an assassin, 100%. You can just put that on the chevron from now on.
The Chiron is that.
Yep. I just really, really like it. And I do love the design of Arachne. I think Arachne just turned out fantastic as far as feeling, spider-like, but also still has that assassin feel. I love the mask. The Oni mask is delightful. I had a question that I wanted to ask specifically because I was thinking about it today when my buddy Brad was waving the playmat around in front of me and I was sad. The Evo Breaker set is obviously one big art piece because we can see it on the mat. And then they take bits from the big art piece to make the different cards. Do they tell you if they're doing that ahead of time? Like we want one to be a big thing that's going to be multiple cards? Or like how do they do the descriptions for when you have the larger art pieces like that?
Yeah, it's totally my idea, and I'm taking 100% credit of that. They give me the task of for equipment a set equipment, like uh, I think I've seen that in. Do you know about the for a set equipment before?
For
Before bright lights,
set.
I think.
Um,
I think like
There,
the
there's the
big
wraps. I
elves.
know from,
Yeah, yeah.
mm,
Like the women dressed in white.
yeah, yeah. I was trying to think of
oh,
what
Radiant, the Radiant
yeah,
equipment,
the radiant
Yeah,
set.
yeah, yeah,
and the
Um,
Shadow set or whatever it's called.
yeah, yeah.
Darkness set
yeah.
maybe,
No,
but
not darkness. I think.
no, I think it's Shadow. I can't remember what it's. I have to look.
I don't
I've
know,
lost my mind.
yeah, I think they want me to do like that, like the headpiece and the chest piece, and
Instead,
yeah, I think why not we make a composite art of that, of something like that, because like I think at when Magic released the Lord of the Rings set, uh,
yep.
Hmm.
they like they advertise like a big 16 composite art, like the war,
Hmm.
uh
War of the Spark.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, and it's really inspired me, and I think I will never create a composite art like that. So this is the time. I think this is the time I can do like that. So I proposed the idea to Robbie Wen, the art director, the main art director guy. Hey, why we don't make this into one composite art? I think
And
it's really cool.
yeah, it's really good. I don't. It's I because I keep looking at it, and every time I look at that art, I see something different. I see something new. I see another little detail, and it's just I understand it, but I not almost. I really dislike that on the Marvels they didn't make the text box opaque because I just want to see more of the art on the card. And I'm just like, it feels like such a miss because it's it's such an interesting it's a character driven piece that isn't character driven, because the focus of what's on the card isn't supposed to be the characters, it's supposed to be the equipment. However, when you put it together as this big concept piece, it's kind of an all-consuming thing. It's very, Akira meets Blade Runner meets Cyberpunk 2077. It's got so many things going on, and I think that they made an absolutely killer decision to make this a playmat because one of the three best playmats I've seen out of Flesh and Blood. The other two being Shock Charmers, which was also your art, and the full art of Shock Charmers is ludicrous. Once you see that on a mat, you're like, "What the hell? Why did they crop this?" Because and it's one of the most sought after mats, and the other one being Blood on Her Hands, which is a the concept always just crushes me. I just love it. And those are probably the three best mats that I've seen in Flesh and Blood. Um, and two of them are yours. So those larger pieces of art, I think, are super important overall to tell the story. And I'm glad that they let you do that. Or that, well, I'm glad that you did that. You just told them, really. So we're just going to give you complete credit. You had the best idea ever and created in my mind, one of my 5 favorite pieces of TCG art. So good on you. You did it. I'm couldn't be happier. uh, so I mean, I just put together a couple of different questions on here, mainly because to keep my thoughts in order. We don't really have to go through all of them, but um, like what I there's this is kind of a generic question. I hate it, but I'm also interested in it. So when did you decide that art was going to be your career? That was going to be the thing that you did. Like when did that occur to you?
Oh, I when did that occur to me? Uh, I don't know. Maybe at college. I take graphic design as a major.
Okay.
So, and I didn't really like it. Yeah,
Art and design are not the same thing.
yeah. Uh, just I grew up with video games and comic books. I like to draw character from my favorite game. So yeah, but I don't know if I can make a living out of it. But luckily, when I'm in college, like uh, some friends, uh, some friends told me that luckily there's a studios in Indonesia that do that kind of thing. So I might as well try to be an artist. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
so it worked out, is what you're
uh,
saying.
yeah,
So you know what we're going to ask now, because Chara and I are both giant comic book nerds.
yeah.
So, what's your favorite comic book?
Ooh, that's a loaded questions.
Yes, it is.
Uh, I grew up reading Japanese manga,
Okay.
not American comic book. I introduced to American comic book maybe at college by my friends. My favorite comic book, I think. mm, the easy answer is One Piece.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Because there's a billion of them.
yeah, because I grow with that manga
Yep.
since I'm 15.
I
And yeah,
It's been
like
going for, is it
maybe
13
20
years?
years,
20
maybe
years?
20
Yeah,
years.
it's a long time.
Yeah, yeah, that's the easy answer. But there's so many great comic books. If we're talking about American comic book, I think mm, you know every comic book drawn by Alex Ross,
Oh, geez.
right?
Yep. Sure.
Like
Yep.
Kingdom Come, Justice. That's really mind
Yep.
blowing. You don't have to read the text; just look at the pages, and it will
Okay.
blow you away.
Next time
Yeah.
I see you, I'll bring you something, because I think I
I'm
got something
gonna
you'll enjoy.
I'm gonna talk 3 hours if you want to talk about comic book.
Oh no, I'm the same way. Like, it's you. I mean, my favorite comic book is Battle Chasers. So much like a
Oh,
lot of things in my life, I chose to suffer because that comic book never came out on
yeah,
time
yeah.
and had an actual, what was it? 18, not 18, because it's 20, so 12 years between episodes or between issues. And then it started back up recently, and they released 3 issues on time in a row, which is the first time that's ever happened in that comic book's life. And then they said in the last issue, they're like, okay, well, we're treating this as arcs. So we're going to do an arc and then take a break and then do another arc. And I'm like, but no, not again. No.
I think the
Uh,
creator, I think the creator of Battle Chasers become a video game art director or
yep.
something,
Yep. Joe
right?
Madureira. Yep. He
Yeah,
did Daikatana, I believe. And he did a few different games. And then Battle
yeah.
Chasers Night War, obviously, which is actually a really good RPG. If you haven't played it, it's quite good. But that's probably my favorite just overall comic book of all time. I own every cover of every issue that's ever been released.
Wow.
And yeah, it's been a chase to get that stuff down. No pun. Well, fuck you, Charmer. Um, Derek. You're still Iron Man. That's still your thing, right? That's still your jam.
I mean, that's my favorite character for sure.
Before Disney.
Yeah. I when I was growing up, I really enjoyed Iron Man specifically because he was one of the reasons that I connected with him, especially like in my like preteens, was that he was somebody who didn't really have a true arch nemesis, right? A lot of heroes are as much about their villains as they are themselves. And Iron Man always stood out to me because, if I'm being honest, most of his villains are just not very interesting. But
Big
he's,
Bang
in my
Theory.
opinion, his worst enemy, right? It's his hubris. It's his, you know, self-destructiveness. He's got the run where he's battling alcoholism. He's got the run, obviously, where his own stuff comes back to haunt him and bite him. He's a womanizer, but recklessly so. And so I liked the approach of somebody who has all this wealth, right? All this brain power, but he can't get out of his own way. And I don't know. I connected a lot with that more. I fell in love with him, and he's easily my favorite character. If I had to pick like an absolute like just favorite comic though, as far as like rereadability, I think the one that I reread the most is Invincible, actually.
It's really
Oh,
good.
that's really good.
Yeah, the Kirkman Invincible run is just a really good, like, I can just pick it up and like, oh, I'm 50 issues deep and I don't even realize it, you know what I mean? So I don't know.
My favorite manga though is Battle Royale. Not close. It's brutal. The story, it's like it's proto Hunger Games, and it's it has that like it has that shock value to it. And when you can carry that sort of that visceral nature, that kind of strikes you even in black and white art, because like that manga is not color, isn't there's no colorization, it's just all black and white, which a lot of manga are, and it still hits you in the same way. That's awesome. And that just it's very violent, which is, I'm an American. What can you say? But the
Oh,
well,
we like that too.
fair enough. But that's probably my favorite manga, because just reading it has you on the edge of your seat. Like, what's going to happen next? Who's going to go next?
Yeah.
Like, you start getting invested in these characters, and then a panel later, they're beheaded.
Yeah, it's really like universal theme. It's when for us, I think we're like the similar age. Like Battle Royale is our first survival genre.
Mhm.
Like that genre is our first consumption. So I think that's why like the younger generation like what other games,
Oh,
because
sure.
Mhm.
Yep.
I think like at this time similar manga like Battle Royale is apa like they really rotate the title. Like I think there's a manga called uh, I don't know what island. It's like
Oh, okay.
very popular in Japan. It's survival horror. I think that theme is really rotate in its generation and really well liked.
Yeah, I think so too. I completely agree. And yes, if we keep talking about comic books, this will go for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And we can do that the next time that we're at an event together. We'll just, after the event, we'll shut down, we'll go get dinner, and we will talk comic books for 3 hours. I have no problem with that.
I have no problem. I will absolutely do that.
I will go hard. Like, I've been reading comics since I was reading Transformers comics back in 1986, 1985, starting with the very beginning. And Transformers has always been one of my big loves. I have like a Nemesis Prime right there. There's a Grimlock over here. Here's an Astro Train. There's this is all just nerdery. So like back here, you can see back here, those are 1960s X-Men comics.
Ooh.
Like that one is X-Men 15.
Yeah. I used to have a giant size one.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
Still one of my holy grails. Like, and I still don't own one. Had like that one made it to our LGS, and before I could get there, somebody snacked it up. Just snatched it up underneath me. I'm like, okay. But that's neither here nor there. So we're gonna go on to just a couple more art based questions, and then you're gonna get to have some fun with some listener questions, because I cannot wait for you to talk about some of this bullshit. This is what the fappers do to us: is they just give us inane bullshit. It's just what they love to do. So I am going to ask you the question: what is your favorite Flesh and Blood art piece? It can be yours, it can be somebody else's. Just what is your favorite piece of Flesh and Blood art?
Yeah, I have a hard time to choose, but the one that really captured me is the Emperor art by
Oh yeah,
Federico. The
yeah.
foil is really beautiful. The design is really beautiful. Uh, I think he's the goat. I really lucky to meet him at
It's
Baltimore. A really
it is.
kind person.
Yep. It's really hard to beat Federico. I mean, you're right there with him, so don't sell yourself short. But Federico's art is incredible. Derek, what's yours?
So mine in
I'm
the
not.
past it changed a lot. Um, it feels like every set I have a new one, but the one that's like held on the longest, the more I keep going back to it, the front side of Figment of Tenacity is just beautiful. It just feels like a Norse epic saga come to life, right? The lightning, the lone warrior up against this giant serpent, the like kind of stained glass hands, but not like look on the outside, right? I think Bastion, for the limited pieces that he got to do for that set, because he also did Figment of Protection with the little girl.
Mhm.
I think he just crushed that opportunity. But Figment of Tenacity just always comes back to me because, even if it wasn't a Flesh and Blood card, like I would look at that and be like, yeah, I would put that on my wall. That's just got all the look and feel of an old Norse epic, and I
Right.
really dig it.
Yeah, mine is still blood on her hands. It haunts me. Like I look at the art and I'm just instantly haunted because it's a warrior Kasai, so I'm a simp there too, but Kasai staring at her reflection in a pool of blood in her own hands is so just epic. And then bodies strewn all across a battlefield with varying states of decay, swords pierced through them, and like the sun setting over like a smoggy like battle terrain. It's just like my god. I want um the reason it's my favorite is because it haunts me, and I like things that give me that feeling. That it's the same, and honestly, it's the same with the breaker piece that you did. With that something that when I first see it, I go, "What the hell?" Like I want, like, yes, that whatever more, please. And so I think both. I had the same reaction to both, honestly. But I don't know if I've had enough time with the breakers, and then maybe I'll see them when I close my eyes, but or the concept of them, I should say. I never actually see anything, but this one, like the thought of the story that happens here, actually just kind of like haunts me and draws me in. I will own a print of the breaker art at some point, though, so you do need to make those in case you didn't know. I need that. Um,
Okay.
yeah, and you're just like, fine, I guess. All I'm asking you to do is take my money. It's fine. Um, last thing from here, in the art category, just a quick one. Is there a property, a game, or a video game, a manga, a comic, anything that like you haven't done that you really want to do? Basically, what's your dream? Like what's the thing that you most want to do?
Ooh, what I most want to do, I it's not like I haven't done before, but I want to do Warhammer again, Warhammer 40K. Uh, I've done it like years ago, but I think when I did it, my skill is not good enough. So I'd like to try Warhammer more. I'd like to do Magic also, but yeah, I want to do that. But you just give me another CC hero. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm good.
I mean, sure, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, I think that, like, I mean, I obviously you, because I know you've done Warhammer work, um, and I understand that. Like, so you think, if, as you grow in skill, as you improve as an artist, wanting to go back and do something that you've already done to just see how different it is, when you go back and get another shot at it. That makes total sense to me. Like I get that part. Magic, I'm fascinated to see you do Magic cards. I
Yeah,
would,
that's a lot of Magic artists that I idolized, like Tyler Jacobson or Steve
yep,
Argyle.
yeah.
Uh,
You're naming some of the big ones. Steve is one of the nicest people in the world. Mark is super nice. Mark Poole. I
yeah.
will always miss Chris Rush. He was the nicest human being at every single Magic event I was ever at. He was. I would just get in line for his signing line, with nothing to sign. I would just get it to say hi. I would get in to just kind of like, hey Chris, how are things going? Good to see you. Yep. Well, have fun. And I would leave. I just wanted to say hi. And because like that's the type of person that Chris was. And I still have a ton of his art, and or some of his prints, and then a lot of his of signed cards from him still. I mean, I did take things occasionally to get signed, but he was always one of the ones that I really enjoyed being around because he was just good people. Also super talented. Some of the most iconic art in the history of card games is Chris Rush, and that's a giant mountaintop that no one's ever going to climb to the top of. And I'm always going to miss that. I always enjoyed Pete Venters. I thought he was really good in Magic. Had more of a polished style than some of the other Magic artists, but I think it worked. And then Richard Kane Ferguson was my other just absolute loved everything he did. So that's kind of my Magic arc. I played that game for way too long, by the way. I played Magic for 23 years or whatever, 24 years. So that's enough. I'm glad to not be doing that anymore. But we're just going to go in and hit on a couple of quick hitter news and notes types things for reminders for people. So Battle Hard Milwaukee's next weekend. It is the first CC event with Bright Lights as a legal set. I'll be there. Charmer probably not. I don't know. He never tells me. I've been asking him for like 3 weeks now. Still hasn't told me.
I'll let you know when I know.
You son of a bitch. Okay, fine. You have a hotel room, so whatever. I'll just upgrade the hotel room if you tell me in enough time, so we have like a martini bar to hang out at.
Why would I do that when I can spoon you? If I don't tell you and you don't upgrade.
No, I already got a room with 2 beds. No, regardless. Okay. Oh,
that
doesn't preclude that. Okay, you're right. I get it. I'm Big Spoon. So so I know that Isra, this isn't your your limited player, but and Derek, I know you're a simp, but what would you play in Milwaukee if you were there playing in the Battle Hardened?
Oh, me?
Sure. You can. You have access to. You have access to any hero and all the cards because you
Okay. Okay, I'll play Uzuri because it's really easy. I think it's really easy to play Uzuri.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
And the hero is really cool. I really like the art. Uzuri is
No, the
really,
hero's dope. Like, the hero is super cool.
the designs is very very cool. I really like. Yeah, I think I played.
Okay, Charmer. Is it Bravo or Azuri? Which one is it?
Well, since my new best friend already took care of being the assassin for me, I will change my answer to be Bravo instead, so that we have them both covered. But like, jokes aside, I think if you were going into an unknown meta, Bravo has already been decent enough. And if you were just trying to go with it, what I would describe as a low investment, like sideboard to plan for potential new meta, picking up Bravo and taking any of the good existing lists, but then adding in some copies of Smashing Good Time and Buckle would go a long way for things that you wouldn't expect, right? Buckle obviously has the ability to really muck up the Teklevasan game plan if you do run into anybody trying to make that work. Smashing Good Time can really slow down some of the issues with items if you're worried about like new dash, for example. So, and then Bravo, you know what the rest of the matchups are, right? So I think that, you know, if I'm not picking Uzuri because my good buddy is going to be on it, then I would say just Bravo with some new sideboard tech.
I will have 3 decks in my bag, and I will tell you what they are. I do not know which one I'll play yet. They are Dromai, Lexi, and Dorinthia. I will not tell you anything other than that, because some of this is some of the stuff is top secret in the lab things that I'm not going to talk about. But those are the 3 decks that'll be in my bag. Don't know until game time decision which one I'm going to play. But as of right now, I'm going to be in Milwaukee regardless. It's weird that I'm going to pay for gas, travel, and and food in a hotel room just so I can spend like 45 minutes with Flake. But it is what it is. I need some Flake time. I need
That's
him.
actually the best way to do it because I like spending time with Flake, but I think 45 minutes is the right amount.
About right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think I can go probably an hour and a half with Flake. I think that we could do 45 minutes and then a refractory period and then like another 45. Like, would that be okay?
No, because I got to make time to talk about comics with Ijur.
With you, George?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he's not going to be at Milwaukee, but
I'll call him. Like,
yeah, well, sure.
I need comic time now.
We're just going to actually just be putting him on a Discord call like weekly to do this. Actually, that doesn't sound like a bad idea. Yeah, we'll have to get you on Discord for that. Okay, that makes sense. Other reminder, the 20K Realm Invitational Weekend, December 1st through 3rd in Columbus. It's a 20K multi-format invitational starts on Friday. There's a 10K brawl on Saturday and a 5K team sealed on Sunday. All of these will qualify you for the 2024 Invitational, which is a 50K. So if you're into like getting people's money by playing cards, it's probably a good time to be there. It's a giant thing it's a giant pool of everything. So cosplay contest and multiple properties. So if you want to play Magic, Pokemon, Alpha Clash, or Flesh and Blood, any great, show up. I'm gonna see if I can talk Keith into getting Isra there. I think that'd be great, so that you can come hang out in the U.S. for a little bit, and partake in the stupidity that is us.
Oh yeah, just bring him to Columbus in December. Way to roll out the red carpet.
That's what else am I gonna do?
I really freezing to death at DC in May, so I don't know what is Columbus at December.
Ooh. Well, I'll pick you up in Chicago and let you stand outside of O'Hare for like 10 seconds and then carry you the rest of the way to the car. Because you won't be able to walk. You'll be frozen stiff. Just one solid, you'll be an Isra popsicle. But I honestly, I think that artist would be great to have there. I think he'd be a great addition. So maybe I can talk Keith into it. He listens to the show. He'll let me know one way or the other. Or if he stopped listening, do you know how upset I'm going to be? Like I can't. I don't know if my body can handle that. Also a reminder that we will be having a FAP After Dark on Wednesday at, I believe, 9:30 Central Time, so 10:30 Eastern Time, with our special guest host Bryn from the Banish Zone. Greg is overladen with commitment, so Bryn has agreed to step in. It was her fucking idea, by the way. Whatever happens in this, I do not accept any responsibility, and I expect all you fappers to be on your worst possible behavior. That is all. I expect you to just say shit that you would never want anybody else to hear because they won't. If you're not familiar, Isra, we do this thing for the patrons once a month ish. We've only done it once so far, but we're gearing it up where we do a kind of a Discord hangout. We don't record it because the shit I'm about to say, I do not want to be on record anywhere. And we then kind of jump over some topics. We let the people in the channel ask questions or make us address comments, and we just kind of go wild for a little bit. It's a good time, and If you subscribe to the Patreon for $2 a month, you can come and listen and hang out and be a part of complete and utter debauchery. It is a great time to be alive. But that's just one of the few things that we offer our special patrons over here at Flesh and Pod. Y'all want some listener questions? Because these are, I don't even know about these.
I'm excited for these questions.
You're excited for these questions? Okay.
I am, yeah.
We'll do a little bit.
I love our listener questions, man.
Yeah. Okay. This one's, we got 2 from Donnie K to start. So the first one is, if the zombie apocalypse started on Rathe, where would you go to survive? Derek, we're going to start with you on this one.
Aria. Northern Aria, specifically.
Oh, so the zombies would freeze. That's the old World War Z trick.
Yep.
I get you. Okay. Okay, I like it. That's a good strat. Israel, how about you?
I'm really tired about this zombie apocalypse thing, but I'll play along.
So am I.
I think it's overdone and it's boring.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna go to Matrix. Your
not
strategy to the north, it's really legit, but it doesn't freeze the zombie alone, but mine as well. So I don't go to the north. I'm gonna go to Matrix.
That's fair. I'm just gonna go to the Demonastery because they already are just doing zombie shit anyway. So I'm just gonna go blend in. That's fine. I mean, to them, that's like, to you, it's a zombie apocalypse. The Demonastery, it's Tuesday. Like, it's just normal things. So I'm just going to go live life there. It's, no big deal. The second question on here, what would your Wrath Zombie survival team be? So who are your 3 heroes that you're taking with you as your survival team in this case? Easier, start with you.
Well, yeah, initially I want to say Teklofosen, Des, and Datadol, but is it is it canon that Des is Teklofosen's daughter?
Dash is like a descendant-ish. It's a weird corporate structure that acts familial. So they're not related,
Yeah,
but they're part of.
Because if they're related, it's gonna be awkward. So I don't want that.
No notes.
So if they're unrelated and it's gonna go. Come on, Daddy Teklo.
Charm, repeat that.
Listen, if you're a fan of racing, you know that you're only as good as your pit crew. So I'm taking the crew from the pits. Uzuri, Riptide, Azalea.
Not taking Arachne. Okay.
No, because the only reason that Azalea makes the cut over Arachne is because, like, I've seen The Walking Dead. I know how important arrows are. So we need somebody who can take them out at range. But I still needed, Uzuri or somebody who can do whatever's on the shred artwork to a brain, because, like, that tells me you can get the job done. And then Riptide, when we do make it north, he's just going to booby trap everything around. So we're double insulated. So I'm going with the pit crew.
I'm gonna say that zombies burn. So we're gonna take Kano, we're gonna take Dromai, and we're gonna take Kasai, who can get the job done. She'll go for the head. That's very fine. So I can cover at a distance anything that gets through. I've got my murder machine here to clean up the mess. So that's my crew as Team Volcor on this one.
I don't think Dromai will work on zombies because they're illusionists, right? They're playing with our
they're not
fear.
real.
And zombie doesn't have brains, so I think they're immune to that dragon.
I mean, if that's the case, we'll just go Emperor. It's fine. Oh, well, no, because there'll be zombie Arachne and he'll just die anyway.
I was going to say, the Emperor is already a zombie if he's around, because I'm pretty sure Arachne killed him.
Okay, so we're going to have to just take, we'll have to take Icelander and hope that Icelander and Kano play nice. We got Donnie K back on us again. I don't, okay.
I love this.
Is this the one you're most excited for? Okay.
Yeah.
What hero do you think has the best chance of successfully defending you in court? Charmer.
Typanis.
Ooh.
Oh, well, okay. That makes sense.
There's nobody who knows the law and the rules better than that guy. And if you're going by abilities, any charges you're trying to put on me, I'm just going to flip somewhere else. Can't take me down as long as I got Typanis.
Typanis is a really good answer. That's hard to fight. Huh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't know that I have a better answer than that. That's pretty cut and dried.
I
I
take
can't.
Genius.
You're gonna take Genus?
I take Genius.
He's got what you need.
That's
That's
the one I did.
true. It's
And
got what you need.
especially, listen, if the court trial is here in America, taking somebody with a bunch of money is a good play.
It's a good
Yep.
play. I'm gonna take Yorick. I'm gonna take the bard to sway the jury.
Ooh.
To just kind of, the glove don't fit, you must acquit. Chewbacca, he's a Wookiee. He's from Kashyyyk. What's he doing on Endor? That doesn't make sense. That whole thing, like, he can just cover all of it, and he'll have the jury on my side in no time, and I'll be off. Then Keith has to piggyback because Keith, and he asks, what hero would be your co-defendant in the above case? So who's your partner in crime when you got busted, Isur?
My partner in crime. I think Arachne. Nobody
Yeah.
know their face.
Yeah.
I feel like it's probably Dash, but I might be reading too much into the zombie apocalypse thing.
It's not a crime everywhere. Derek, what's your answer?
Mine is Shiana, because I feel like if I knew a shapeshifter, I would get in so
Oh.
much trouble one way or another.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way
answer.
I'm not ending up on trial if I know a shapeshifter.
Mine's probably it's probably Lena Bell is my guess. She would probably, my guess is I would make some offhand suggestion that maybe this person deserves what they got coming to them, and then she'll probably poison them, and then people will draw lines and yada yada yada, and then York will get us off. It'll be fine. Like, this is just a perfect plan. So my guess is I think Lena Bell would be my co-defendant. The last question looks like it was actually directed at me. Isur, when did you start listening to this show?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I really don't know about that because like I found a lot of podcasts about Flesh and Blood to familiarize with this game. Maybe yours, like in the mix when around uh months ago, maybe
Okay.
months or 2 months ago.
So originally, the show was hosted by myself and then a couple named Jordan and Abby Kennedy.
Oh, I don't know about that.
And yeah, that was almost a year ago now. And then when they left the show, Charmer took over. Well, Jordan is a beautiful and empathetic soul, and I am not. I am a god awful human being. So Jordan, at the end of episodes, used to kind of do a little, like, uh, sign off forehead kiss type of thing to make people feel good. I tried it. It just felt hollow whenever I did it. I meant it, but it sounded hollow. So, like, I don't do it very frequently. So this question is sent to me in regards to that. It's in lieu of the old Jordan send off, which you don't think you do well, and I don't. Can the community send you clips to play at your discretion as an outro to spread the FAP love to each other? Now, not my words. And if so, where would you send it? So this has already kind of been a thing before, where we had Charles Feist, Chuck to people who are his friends, and Chuckles the circus monkey to anybody else that knows him more. But he is a level 1 judge and very obsessed with Flesh and Blood rules. And so he would record something called the Pendant's Corner, which was just usually like a 20-second clip of him explaining an obscure ruling that we would then run at the end of the show. Yeah, I'm totally okay. If you want to do that, feel free. You can, the best thing to do is to just email them to us at fleshandpod@gmail.com. And then I can just give them a listen. And then, yeah, I can tack them into shows as they fit or as necessary. So if you want to record messages, then for the other listeners to hear at the end of shows, feel free. I'm more than happy to stick them in. It's simultaneously more and less work, so I guess that balances. I don't fucking know, but yeah. So just email them over fleshandpod@gmail.com, and feel free. Do you find it funny, Charmer, that Jordan and Abby quit the show like a year ago, due to time constraints, and then now, like less than a year later, Jordan has 2 podcasts again?
I love Jordan, and I'm not going to say anything negative about him or his choices, but I have noticed that he likes to do things that don't involve me. And I don't know how to take that.
Hey, I'm right there with you. So good dagger, though. Proud of you. Hey, you got anything else? Because I think that's it. I think that we did it.
I mean, I just wanted to thank Ijur for joining us, because that was really fantastic. Again, huge time difference. Did not have to do this. We genuinely and sincerely appreciate it, and don't think that we're buttering up our love for your artwork just because you're on the show. We genuinely enjoy it, and I hope that you continue to do work both in Flesh and Blood, but also in other stuff that I get to consume and enjoy in the future, because I really do like your style. So thank you.
Yeah, and if you, I mean, obviously, it's I've been gushing over your artwork on Twitter for months, so there's that. And the other part of this is, I really hope that at some point in time you decide to do a comic book or a manga. I think that would be awesome. I would be the first person buying it. So I love the passion, I love the work, I love all of it. It's fantastic, and thank you for doing this. It's very again, yeah, Charmer hit it on the head. You don't have to. No one said you have to.
Thanks. I'm really excited to do this. Really, thank you to you guys because
Yeah.
I work at home. I rarely meet people, so this is fun.
Oh, great. Are we your first podcast?
No, but I really enjoyed it.
Now I got to find out what the other podcast was.
He had to do the important ones first.
All right.
No, it's not important. It's with me and my friends. We just talk shit.
That sounds familiar. Yeah.
Obviously, now I want to know what it is.
Now I need that podcast.
Yeah.
It's in Indonesia. You won't get it.
I will learn the language. But so Isha, where can they find you? Twitter or email or Discord, anything? Where can they find you? Where can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, you can hit me up at Instagram at IJVR, and at Twitter in IJUR.
Perfect. And then you can get to us at the podcast at on Twitter at FleshPod. You can email us fleshandpod at gmail.com. If you're interested in becoming a patron of Flesh and Pod, you can go to patreon.com/fleshandpod. The link is in the show notes. There's some, I don't know. There's some fucking tiers. I don't know. Just whatever. And but if you join any of the tiers, you do get access to the FAP After Dark channel in the Discord, which that link is also in the show notes. And that lets you hear the FAP After Darks that happen. So if you are interested in just some real bullshit, then go ahead and just pay $2 a month. That's all there is to it. Derek, where can they find you?
The easiest way to find me is to follow Ijur on Twitter, then click on the thing that says the people that follow him, and then find me, because I'm following him and you all should be as well. That's the best way to find me.
It's a good answer. Because it works for me too, honestly. You could just do that too. But yeah, and if you want to find me personally on Twitter, it's just at Logan Peterson. Everywhere, it's at Logan Peterson. Blue Sky, it's at Logan Peterson. Threads, is that still a thing? I mean, it's an app on my phone. I just don't know if it's a real thing or not.
Yeah.
But I'm too fucking old for Instagram, so don't worry about that part. But yeah, that's about all I got for this week. Again, a special thank you to our guest Isuardi. So words can't express just how grateful we are for you coming on and helping us with the show this week. It's been a treat. So thanks a lot, and thank you everybody for listening. And number 97 next week. We'll talk to you then. Bye.